Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, we are going to have a very honest conversation about working abroad. There are a lot of students who work with me every year and then they get accepted abroad, they go abroad, they work. Some of them are very happy, few of them are very unhappy. So it's very important for me to help you understand realistically, what type of expectations you should go abroad with. How much money can you make? What type of lifestyle will you have? Should you do it or not? Which country should you go and study? So I thought that I would shoot a brief video and cover all these very important topics. So let's get started, and if you like this video, do press the like button and please watch this video till the very end. So part 1. So how much money can you realistically make by working or living abroad? So here, the first thing that you need to understand is that you will make money depending on the industry in which you are working. For example, if you are working in private equity, venture capital, management consulting, investment banking, then of course you are going to make a lot more money compared to if you are working in non-profit space. If you are working with McKinsey in New York office, of course you are going to make more money in absolute terms in USD dollars vis-a-vis if you are working for Teach for America, which is a non-profit organization. So the first key criteria in terms of making more money is that you need to actually work in an industry which pays you well. There are a lot of jobs in India which pay a lot of money. It's not as if that in order to make money you have to go outside India. That's not the goal. The goal is to actually work in an industry which can pay you well if money making is what you're after. So you need to pick industries like investment banking, management consulting, venture capital, so on and so forth. So this is part 1. You need to understand that these industries, be it management consulting, be it investment banking, be it a bunch of other high paying industries, majority of those jobs are outside India. Why? Because you need to understand the difference between front end and back end office work. Let me demonstrate this by giving you a couple of examples. So let's look at the size of the management consulting industry in India and compare it to the size of the management consulting industry in the US. Now the management consulting industry in the US is at least 30 times that of India. So of course the number of jobs in management consulting in the US are much higher. This is the first part of the equation. Now again, if you compare it from a nature of work perspective, if you're working in, let's say, JP Morgan, which is an investment bank in New York, the salary will be much higher there, even in purchasing power parity terms, because JP Morgan New York office would be doing a lot of front-end work. Front-end work means that you are engaging with clients, you are doing presentations, you are bringing business for JP Morgan. So it's a profit center, not a cost center. All the cost center thing or the back-end office things are sent to India, and there's a lot of back-end office work that happens in India. As a result, the salaries are also low in terms of purchasing power parity, adjusting for purchasing power parity. So I hope this point is clear. So let me summarize so far that number 1, in order to make more money, you need to go to an industry that pays you well, and majority of those jobs are outside India, unfortunately, because of this front-end and back-end office bifurcation. So let me quickly explain what purchasing power parity actually means. So purchasing power parity simply means that, for example, if I'm trying to buy 10 apples in New York, now how much money would it require? Probably I might have to spend, let's say, $10 or 700 rupees to buy 10 apples. Now in India, if I have to buy 10 apples, then do I have to spend 700 rupees? The answer is no, because the value of what 100,000 allows me to buy in New York is very different from what I will be able to buy in India. So the salary is adjusted. Now roughly speaking, for example, if you're working in McKinsey New York as an associate, right after your MBA school, you will be paid approximately $130,000 plus sign-on bonus and bunch of other bonuses. So that's the salary that you're making. But if an equivalent position is held in India, you would be getting paid approximately 28 lakhs. So in New York, $130,000, which is approximately 1 crore, and here you are only getting paid 28 lakhs. So is this PPP comparison right? Now you would say that, okay, you know what, okay, different purchasing power parity. So this salary in India should be adjusted. So it should be scaled up, or this New York salary should be scaled down. And it is very difficult to do realistically. You will say that, no, Akshat, this is very easy. I'll go on the internet, I'll type purchasing power parity comparison, and I'll scale this salary up or down. Now, okay, now here are the facts, and let me explain this by giving another example. One of my favorite sweet dishes to eat in Delhi is called as Banoffee pie. I eat that very frequently at a restaurant called as the Big Chill Cafe, and it costs approximately 280, 290, 300 rupees, right? So it's in dollar terms, it's like $4.5, $5. Now, when I was living in Singapore, I could eat like a very good pastry from a top-notch cafe at approximately the same price. And Singapore being one of the most expensive countries to live in. So the point that I'm trying to highlight is that this concept of PPP is not correct, because India can be subdivided into different categories of PPPs. For example, if you ask the question that, hey, can I survive in 250 rupees in Delhi? The answer would probably be yes, right? If you are spending less money, then yes, probably you can do that. You would not have this option in the US or Singapore. But this, intuitively, you understand that this will fall in the low income PPP. Similarly, you will have a middle income PPP and you will have a high income PPP. People who are working Gurgaon, Delhi, Mumbai, trust me guys that their level of expense cannot be simply scaled by using the PPP matrix. So you must use the rich class PPP that is there in India and compare it to the expenses that you might be incurring in Singapore or New York. So what is the summary of this? Is the salary of $130,000 in New York McKinsey, is that better, or is the salary of 28 lakhs back in Mumbai office at McKinsey better? I would say option A, that if you're making $130,000 in McKinsey, New York, that is better even from a PPP adjusted perspective. How much better? I don't know. It really depends on your lifestyle and a bunch of other different things. But just scaling down and doing the PPP comparison, that is incorrect because of the examples that I gave you. Because majority of the people working in McKinsey Mumbai office or Gurgaon office would be undertaking significant expenses, and they would be engaging in the part of the economy that has to do with the rich class PPP in India, right? So please keep that important point in mind, because there is literally zero discussion on this topic when we talk about PPP. Now you would say that, Akshat, you would say good things about working abroad. You would also say that, hey, if you work abroad, you will get more exposure. You are already making more money, this, that. So you are saying really good things. So tell me something negative. Okay, I'll tell you negative things also very honestly. So if you're looking to work abroad, the number one thing is that getting a job abroad is very tough. Okay, it is super tough. It is not as easy. Why? Because you as an Indian are going to the US or Singapore or Ireland or whichever country you are picking. It is not easy. It is not going to be as easy as finding work in India because you are a national here. So that is the first key problem. Does that mean that you will not find work? No. If you are going to good universities abroad, if you are going to good colleges abroad, if you have a good resume going for you, if you have worked with good companies, then finding work abroad will be possible, and a lot of Indians find it. Majority of the Indians in fact find it, as long as you are going to a good institute, good college and good course. So please keep that first point in mind. Number two, you will always have this sword hanging over your head that, hey, if you go to the US, that H1B visa sword will be on your head. If you go to Europe, then again some kind of backlash might happen against Indians. You will have to come back. All that headache will be there, right? That talwar will always be on your neck, and that always will be the case. This is the second key disadvantage. And if you are someone who is not comfortable in terms of moving, right? For example, if you are working in US and if for some reason you have to move to the Middle East and you are feeling very iffy about it, then probably this international career or orientation is probably not for you, right? This is the second key point that you need to remember. The third disadvantage is the feeling of acceptance. Now I have a lot of friends. I myself have lived abroad for several years. I travel frequently. I live frequently abroad. The point is that I meet a lot of immigrants and their usual response is that, hey, we don't have that feeling of acceptance. Now this really depends from person to person. If you are someone who will become homesick very quickly, then probably going abroad is not right for you. So you need to think through that plan. But very honestly and realistically speaking here, the way you need to think about your career is that, hey, I'm going abroad, I will work there for a few years, I'll gain some knowledge, I'll come back. Nothing wrong in doing that. You will get the experience. You will understand different part of the world. You will experience different culture. Then you can come to India and add more value. There is nothing wrong in that kind of narrative also. So you need to make a call what exactly is the lifestyle that you are after and accordingly make a bet here. Of course, working abroad gives you more money. It gives you more exposure. On the flip side, there is that feeling of belongingness. It's not there. And that talwar is always on your neck. Now you would say, okay, Akshat, you have helped me understand the pros and cons. So number one, can you tell me which countries are good to study abroad and what should be my game plan? Okay. So number one, which countries are good to study abroad currently? I think Singapore is really good. US, European region is very good. More importantly, it's not a question of region. It's more about which specific college you are going to, if the college is good ranked or not. Is the course very good or not? And does it allow you to get to the type of jobs that you want to get? For example, a lot of people end up pursuing an MBA in Germany and then they say that, hey, Akshat, we want to become management consultants and work with BCG and McKinsey. Tell us if Germany is good. It might be good, but if you don't know the local language, you will not get a McKinsey offer from Germany office, right? So that's bad. So please understand all these basic points before you try to make a move abroad. Now comes the second part. What is the proposed game plan that you will tell me? Do I necessarily need to spend money on my education if I want to move abroad? The short answer is in 95% of the cases, yes, because you might not have any connect to Germany if you want to go there, or you might not have any connect to Canada if you want to go there. Now you need to answer a very simple question, right? Your employers, whichever employer you want to work in the US, Canada, Europe with, they are going to ask you that, hey Akshat, why should we hire you? You are sitting in India. What value are you going to add to the Canada office? Then you will not have a very good answer. You will come up with answers like, okay, I'll work very hard. I'm a very hard worker. I'm very sincere. No, they need to see some experience that you already have a little bit of international orientation. So if you have studied abroad, it at least proves to your future employers that, okay, this person understands the international context. This person has worked with classmates who are from different nationalities. So all those positive points are there, and it improves your odds of landing these type of jobs. Now you would say, okay, Akshat, you know what? Okay, I understand your point about studying abroad, but it's very expensive. Is there any low cost method? Right? So if you are already working with an organization that provides you with international orientation or experience, take it up. For example, let's say that if you're working with a startup in India and that startup has a US office, try to go to that office, try to interact with clients from those offices. This networking exercise is going to be very important for you. You can also figure out internships. You can do experiential learning projects. For example, a company in which I have invested, it's called as Cases Over Coffee. And we run experiential learning projects and programs with international startups. For example, we have worked with Canadian startups, European startups, European VC funds, and many of our fellows have been able to find internships with these organizations. So this acts as an international orientation. You can prove, I've worked with these type of international organizations, therefore I have an international orientation. I've worked with classmates who are from different parts of the world. I've worked with mentors who are from a different part of the world. It becomes easy for you to switch to foreign locations. So you can check out the program in the description box also. It's a good program, so check it out. It's not a promise of internship per se, because it really depends on the companies that we are working with, but it's a promise of getting good international exposure. So that is the bottom line of the program, and you can explore other options as well. There were no such programs that were offering such opportunities for Indian students. So we started this program and it is gaining massive traction in the market. So do check it out. It might be very useful for you. So in summary, if you want to work abroad, there are definite pros and cons, so you need to be mindful of that. You need to put in the preparation. Still, the best strategy is to go and study abroad, or you need to explore programs that give you some kind of international orientation. If you do the mix of both, then that would definitely improve your odds of landing a job abroad.